So today we start a brand new topic called writing equations in slope-intercept form. So now we're going to be given a point and the slope to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Now, notice here I gave you guys a different form to start with. It says use point-slope form to start. Okay, so let's go over point-slope form. Here we have y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. When I say sub 1 and y sub 1, right, I mean that little subscript number there. So sub, like submarine, or subway means under. Okay, so subscript means a number that is underneath the letter. So here we have y sub 1 and then x sub 1. And what really that means is the y value and the x value in the point that they're giving us. The slope is just the m here, okay? So let's go ahead and begin by filling in those numbers here. So we're going to do y minus the y value, which is 4, equals m, which is the slope. We have it over here, 3 over 2, times x minus the x value. So it's x minus 8. Okay? Now what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and, since we have a fraction here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that denominator here by multiplying both sides by that denominator. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by 2 and this side by 2 also, okay? So notice here, the 2's here are going to just cancel out. Okay, now they're not really canceling out, they're dividing out. It just becomes a 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that means we're left with 3 times x minus 8 on this side. And on this side, we end up with 2 times y minus 4. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to distribute on both sides. So notice here, I'm going to do 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. Okay? Now distribute here. 2 times y is 2y. And then 2 times negative 4 is going to be negative 8. Okay? Now, to write it in slope-intercept form, we got to get y all by itself. Remember, our goal is to make it look like this. Y equals mx plus b. Okay? So that means y has to be all by itself. Notice y is not by itself yet. It's got a 2 there and a minus 8. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add 8 to both sides. And so get 2y equals 3x. And then what's negative 24 plus 8? That's negative 16. Okay, we're almost done here. One more step and we're finished. So last step is to divide by 2. So we're going to divide by 2 here. And basically what that means, we're going to divide each term by 2. Okay, so right here the 2's divide out. So we're left with y equals, and then 3 over 2 stays that way, 3 over 2 x. And then what's 16 over 2? 16 divided by 2 is 8. So this is going to be a minus 8. There you have it. Slope-intercept form. Okay? So let's do another example. Okay? And again, we're going to be using point-slope form because we're given a point and a slope. And then we're going to rewrite it in slope-intercept form. So this here at the end is slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So this tells me my slope is 3 over 2. And my y-intercept is negative 8. Okay, let's do the next one. Again, we're given a point. So we're going to do y minus the y value. Notice here it's going to be y minus negative 5 equals, and if you forgot what this point-slope form is, just look at the other page that you just wrote. Okay, so we have y minus the y value equals the slope times x minus the x value. Okay, so here we have y minus negative 5 equals the slope, which is negative 1, times x minus the x value. So that's going to be x minus negative 1. Now you may remember what you're supposed to do whenever you have two negatives next to each other, right? Well, just make them positives, right? Subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. Okay, so what we're going to do here, notice our slope is not a fraction. So that means we can go ahead and distribute from the start. So we're going to do negative 1 times x is negative x. And negative 1 times negative 1, negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Okay, bring down the y plus 5. And we only need one step left here to do to get into slope-intercept form. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 5. Remember, the goal is to get y all by itself. Right here, it has the plus 5 in the way, so we got to get rid of that. So it's going to become y equals negative x, and then negative 1 and negative 5 makes negative 6. There it is, y equals mx plus b. My slope is negative 1, and then my y-intercept is negative 6. See that? Let's keep going. Let's do it again. Y minus the y value equals slope times x minus the x value. Okay, so let's do y minus the y value, which is negative 7, equals slope times x minus the x value. Again, the double negatives, right? So we're going to make both of these positives. And then distribute the 3 here. 3 times x is 3x, right? And then 3 times 6 is 18. And then we have y plus 7. Okay, one step and we're done. Subtract 7 on both sides. And we get y equals 3x. And then what's this going to be? It's going to be plus 11. 18 minus 7 is 11. Okay? Let's keep going. 2 more to go. Notice here we have a fraction again for a slope. Let's go ahead and begin. Y minus the y value, y minus 4, equals negative 2/3 times x minus the x value. So that's going to be x minus 3. Now, whenever you have a fraction, you want to get rid of the fraction by multiplying by the denominator. So we're going to multiply by the denominator on both sides like this. Okay, so that gets rid of the fraction on this side. They just get crossed out there. So I'm left with negative 2 times x minus 3. And over here I get 3 times y minus 4. Okay, so now distribute. We have negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Distribute over here. 3 times y is 3y. And 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Okay? So now, first thing you want to do is get rid of the 12 on that side. So add 12 to both sides. You end up with 3y equals negative 2x. And then 6 plus 12 is 18. Divided by 3 on both sides. That means we're going to divide by 3 on both terms on that side. And so then we get y equals a fraction, negative 2/3 x. And what's 18 divided by 3? 6. So there you have it. My slope is negative 2/3 and my y-intercept is positive 6. Okay, let's finish with this one here. So again, y minus the y value, so that's negative 2, equals slope 4 times x minus the x value. They just happen to be the same number. Okay, so change both of these to positives. And so we distribute. 4 times x is 4x. And then 4 times 2 is 8. And so we end up with y plus 2. All right, last step is to subtract 2. We get y equals 4x plus 6. There you have it. Slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b.